Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bare Bones Wargaming. A show with no frills, no bells, no whistles, just a man, a camera, and his game. And now, today, we are going to finish the final turn, the 1944 turn, of the Greater East Asia Co-Prosperity Sphere. So this is it. It's for all the marbles. Can Japan hold on to 8 spaces or more, or will the Allies be able to push them out? So I've done all the strategic redeployment. I've already pulled the cards already for both sides. And as you can see, the U.S. has put a lot of their forces here at Truk, which they captured in 1943. And now, of course, they can try to even thrust at Japan potentially here as the game unfolds. So Japan has got to be able to hang on to some territory here, but also parry this thrust. And, of course, there could be a thrust coming from the CBI theater as well too. So let's get right to it. Let's see here where the Allies are going to work with things. And they're going to start off with that pressure in the CBI theater. So now I have to be careful here with the CBI theater because there is the issue of the Japanese naval unit here at Ceylon, and there is a naval connection to Calcutta, so you don't want to leave that vulnerable. So, with that thought in mind, and only having 2 CBI cards in hand, I'm going to go ahead and activate this Chinese unit here to move on Shanghai. And of course there's the air unit next to it, so they will get the benefit of that air unit, which influences all the spaces around us. So here we go. So they will get 2 dice, thanks to the air unit, 2 or less. Here we go. And, oh, that's the exact opposite of what they needed. It's boxcars. Ouch. So no dice there. The Japanese forces, oh, do the opposite. That's crazy. So the Chinese roll boxcars, the Japanese roll snake eyes, which completely destroys that unit. But thanks to the strategic situation, it doesn't leave it wide open for the Japanese. It'd be hard there for them to get there. Okay, now obviously there's some major activity that's going to go on with the U.S. over in the Marianas. Now the question is, at this point the oil is not as important because I already got the oil at the beginning of this turn. There is no tomorrow, so to speak. So the oil doesn't become as crucially important as it would have. So with that in mind, I'm going to use one of my oil points, and I am going to strategically redeploy my naval forces here, 3 of them, from Borneo to the Marianas to defend. Now the only question is, does that leave anything open for the Allies? The Allies are going to continue looking at their CBI situation here. Well, there's not a whole lot left to do here right now at this point with the CBI. I mean, the air units are in place, but, well, actually, you know what? They could do something that I haven't really done so far in this game. They could go ahead and do a bombing attack. So we could do a bombardment on the Japanese battleship in Ceylon. That's an interesting idea here. So let's see. I need to review the rulebook, to be honest, because I really haven't used this rule that much. It can act as if it was an aircraft carrier with a combat factor of 3. There's no modification. Japanese, U.S., all Chinese and Commonwealth have only 1 step. So it would be possible to eliminate the naval unit, but it also is possible that it could be lost. But it's not enough really to get rid of that battleship in Ceylon because you only get the 1 step. But you know what? I don't see a whole lot of other options with the CBI theater. I forgot about the battleship. Shoot! I had put the battleship on the track I should have brought it in to attack. That was dumb. Well, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring the battleship in to protect Calcutta to make sure there's no chance of that. Oh, I completely forgot about that. All right. Well, brain freeze there. Now, speaking of production, you know what? I'm going to do that with the Japanese. I'm going to play one of the production cards and bring this battleship into the last box and onto the map board. All right, so the Allies only have two options here left. You either got odd or even. Now, production-wise, they could flip over a reduced unit. They could do a strategic move. Both of those things are indeed possible here. No need to do development. That doesn't make any sense at all at this point in time and stage of the game. Okay, I'm going to use that strategic move to move everybody out here to Midway from that space. Alright, now for Japan. Now the question is, should I even try to go after Truk? Or, see, now the problem is if I try to pull a naval unit here. Now granted, well, but I can't leave Singapore. There's that landline there. That is true. I can't abandon either one of those spots. And if I move the air unit in Saigon, I would lose control of the Philippines. That's tough. Well, Jesus, Japan, I do have kind of... I mean, I could pass, I guess. But I usually don't, again, allow myself to do that in solo games because I like to keep the pressure on. And then it gets kind of messy. So... you know what? I think I might try to go after that. See, I'm going to use my other oil thing for a land assault here against those Commonwealth soldiers in Rangoon. Try to grab that space. So, here we go. 2 steps, 4 or less, because I haven't got it there. Roll a 5 and a 2. It's only 1 hit, so I won't be able to pull that off. The Commonwealth troops at 3 or less didn't even hit anything, but they were able to hold their position. So much for that idea. Now, at this point, though, grabbing spaces for Japan is critical. All right. So now the U.S. is up here and can do a naval movement. The question is, am I ready to throw everything on one? Because if I break the situation in the Marianas, it's going to be over. It's going to be it. It's going to be done. Okay. I'm going to use the production card. I'm going to move this battleship unit here to Truk and get ready to strike. Now, as Japan, I have to worry because the Allies are in Midway. Now, the air unit can't influence things, but I only have so many naval units I can use for this. I am kind of really stretched badly in terms of that. However, I can also use one of my naval cards for a strategic move. So what I'm going to do, now that everything's calmed down over in the CBI theater, I'm going to go ahead and move this veteran infantry, and I'm going to SR him back to Japan for defensive purposes. Alright, so that leaves the Allies with just these naval cards. Alright, here we go. I'm going to play the naval card, and this is going to basically be for all the marbles, in essence. So everything 2, 4, 5. The U.S. can move up to 5 units. Everything except the air unit, which will hold on to Truk. So here we go. Big fight going down. Alright, so the United States bringing 2 carriers to the battle and 2 battleships. Let me zoom in on this here. There you go. And the IJN has 2 carriers and 1 battleship. Both sides have 1 Marine. And the Japanese have an air unit, but the Allies have the air unit and truck. So everybody's going to get bonuses here. This is going to get weird. So here we go. Since the U.S. is attacking, we'll let them have first shot. So the U.S. has 4 steps of aircraft carriers increased to 4 or less. And they got 4 hits. Wow. That is going to be enough to completely destroy the Japanese carrier force. So the Japanese carrier force has got to strike back with equal violence. If they don't, this is going to end, I think, very badly. But we'll see. Oh, they only got 2 hits. That's it. So Japan loses both of their aircraft carriers in the space. The U.S. will lose 1 of its carriers. And now it comes down to the round with the battleships. That was ugly. Very ugly for the IJN. This might be it. Alright, so the U.S. has 2 battleships. That's 4 steps also. And with the air unit, we're looking at 3 or less. 3 hits. Oh, that's going to destroy the Japanese battleship too. With an extra hit spilling over, actually. That's going to be a problem for the Marine unit. Uh-oh. This looks like Japan's empire is about to collapse here in this major naval battle. Ooh! Especially after they roll a 6 and a 4. So they will lose their battleship. You have sunk my battleship. Oh, sorry, that's something else. And now there's a 3rd hit. Excuse me, that the U.S. has left over. So let's take a look here and see the extra hits. Let me just double check that because we really haven't had much of that here. Okay, if there's still hits remaining after, because the units have been limited, hits are then allocated freely by the firing player. Whew. Oh, it's by the receiving player. But still, the only thing I have left is that Marine unit, so ouch. The Marine unit is destroyed. The Japanese air unit is by itself, which means it's destroyed. And the Marianas have collapsed. And I think the whole Japanese perimeter as a result has collapsed. Wow. So that major naval battle, I don't think there's any way to save Japan at this point. Because even if I try to take the Japanese fleet from the home islands and strike, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I still have 9 spaces for Japan. So now the question becomes, is there any way I can defend? Well, I can afford to lose Okinawa and still hang in there. But can I get anybody else? Well, there's lots of naval actions left. So the U.S. is playing naval actions. The only good thing is they did take those guys out to Midway. And I don't think, let me check here, I don't think any of these naval cards, oh no, one of them does have a strategic move. 2 of them do. So you know what? The U.S. is going to be able to strategically redeploy people and move them into position so they'll be able to strike. Excuse me. Yeah, I think this is game over at this point. I mean, even if I reinforce Okinawa with something, I don't think I'm going to be able to hang on to everything here. I have to reinforce either Okinawa or I have to reinforce the Philippines. But after that huge naval battle, that just went very, very badly indeed, I don't see where I have much of an option or much of a chance here at this point. Alright, well, if I lose the Japanese home space, it's game over. But if I move to the Philippines, wow, I don't think I can resist the strength that's there, and given the number of cards that's left for the Allies with the naval factor, I think this is game over. That big naval battle at the Marianas is going to yield it here. But let's see. Racking my brain, trying to see if there's any way I can hang on to things. Because if I move 1 unit to Okinawa, it's going to get pounded. Now, granted, the U.S. would have to maybe leave things open over there, but once they strategically redeploy to the Marianas, I mean, it might leave Pearl open, but I can't grab a second spot. Yeah, I just don't see how this is gonna... Well, let's do it this way. Alright. Let me send this carrier to Okinawa with my naval action. I hope that'll work out. Okay, for the U.S., I'm going to go ahead and strategically redeploy this guy from Samoa up here to the Marianas to hold on to that space there, that U.S. infantry unit. Japan has production left. And actually, in this particular place, I will pass. Just in case I lose a battle, I can always flip somebody back over. But, yeah, this is just... Yeah, this is just... Yeah, because now Japan's out of moves. I have no moves left. Alright, well, the U.S. will use one of its naval action cards that's left and basically sail in here to the Philippines, grabbing control of that space with the battleship. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Japan still has 8 at the moment. So now, I'm trying to think here, what's the best way to whittle this down? Because again, Japan's paralyzed. They can't move. They're out of resources. The U.S. has 3 cards left here. Just 3. Okay. Trying to decide what's the most vulnerable spot here. And I mean, I really think it could be Okinawa. So I'm going to go ahead and use this naval action. I'm going to send that battleship and that aircraft carrier from the U.S. fleet to attack Okinawa. Now the Japanese do have an air unit within range, so they will be able to go ahead and... Whoops, I keep catching the ridge there in the map here. See, I did it again. Alright. So let's see. The U.S. will get to fire first 2 steps, 3 or less. They got 2 hits. So it doesn't matter what the Japanese carrier does here, even at 4 or less. With 2 steps, and one of them was a 6. How fitting. That force is defeated. The U.S. did suffer 1 step loss,